Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's L to the B. I hope you guys enjoyed part of that video earlier with the AI stuff. Haven't really checked to see if there's been any comments, but you can do it pretty easy with the personas. The only other thing, when I started to look through YouTube, because I didn't do this prior, I just used my own basic thinking process to look up what I found. So there's no real videos that were like, let's say it like this. There's not a video that you're going to necessarily just pull up that did exactly what I did. I didn't see anything. Actually, and so after that, I did look up videos that you can create or they can fuse with like a personal assistant. They can fuse with your calendars and stuff like that. The only thing I could find was that there's little integrations you could put together with like Zapier and making zaps and running API. Seems a little bit cumbersome. There was another plugin that you can get with the premium version, but since I'm kind of a person that likes to promote free stuff or free applications or opportunities, that's all I try to focus on. But this is going to be a different video here. I figured I will watch this with everyone and see what your opinion is on this communication. Okay, so here's a little bit of a background with me. I've had stomach issues. I've tried to resolve those issues trying a number of diets, using supplements. I mean, it is nutty how many things that I've taken in my lifetime. And I've found some things that help me function. I mean, like, not just only function, but somewhat thrive. And that's important. Stuff for my mind, my mental states, and things like that. So even if you're feeling better and all that kind of good stuff, you never really stop investigating or learning on the subject. I think it might be a long life continuation for the rest of my life that I still check in and look in on diets and how they change your life. But anyways, there's two main topics that is like going crazy right now. Well, I guess he's going to speak about one of them with the trends of where diets are going that most people have heard before, like plant-based eating. That's the way to go. Plant-based eating. Yay, yay, yay. I was a plant-based eater. That might have been how I got into bad shape I got into to begin with. I started eating nothing but plants. I started eating nothing but fruits. I did a fruitarian for a week. I did vegan for a month at least, probably. And while there were some like initial benefits, there was some sliding back. And so if you didn't supplement or you didn't do that, I mean, it was just like you had to, it's almost like playing the game Remnant 2, if anybody's played that game. You better put certain things together if you want to have success playing that video game. And I'm just not down for that kind of experience, to be honest. Like I want to be able to put together my gear, go in there and triumph. And it's the same thing with my diet. I want to be able to eat and not have to really be concerned too much about all these different combinations. And now I'm surviving. Yay. But diet is not so easy to understand. And we're all different, right? We all got different body types. So, with that being said, the one hot topic I'm going to speak about with this guy's video right now, and then I'm going to talk about the other one that's trending, is that the plant-based approach to eating is going down, and the carnivore way of eating, eat the meats, is going up, up, up. And a lot of it's happened because of individuals like Shawn Baker. Maybe there's Paul Saladino. If you guys don't know these characters by now, then you're just touching what the diet world is talking about. Then you've heard it here first. But these guys are all over YouTube. They've been doing it for a while as gurus. I could probably go on for days. Lily Kane, she's big on meat eating. There's another Asian chick. There's can't remember this guy's name. I used to be really deep in the subject matter. And so I knew all the gurus for the other channels that I've used. So what I was observing, and I've been observing it for a little bit in some of Shawn Baker's videos, and every now and then I've been short on breath, but I think it's because, like, depending on what I ate or something, like, I just took vitamin K today, or K2 and D3, and I noticed a pretty decent shift automatically. And I also ate, fruit and stuff like that today. I felt pretty good. So I'm not a guy that's going to tell you, just eat this, just eat that. Try to eat for your body the best you can and watch what you're putting into your temple. That's all I'm going to tell you. I eat meat. I eat meat for strength, for proteins, and maybe I'm wrong in that. And that's where I'm about to lead to the next hot topic. So the next thing, the thing that's trending, that's very interesting in the community of YouTube and whatever, TikTok, all these little social platforms, I don't get into them, but is Kali Muscle. If anybody's ever followed Kali Muscle, I can tell you from just my own viewing experience of him for the last probably 5 to 10 years, because I used to watch him and just like, what? This guy is a freak of nature. Like, so he's a guy, got in trouble, went to prison. He's got even more nuanced stories than that. But he's gone to prison. And I think while he was in there, like I think he was buffed before he even went in. But because he's like embellishing his life, somewhat bullshitting it in a lot of ways, he got a great following. So he swore up and down that all he would eat is ramen noodles and mustard sauce, and he would criticize anybody eating some asparagus. He would just laugh and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, he was lifting. I mean, he's huge. This guy is humongous. I mean, he's one of the biggest guys I've seen. So, anyways, he gets out of the military. He gets out of the prison system, starts making these videos, and then later, let's fast forward. He ends up having a heart attack. It kind of railroads him. Still looks good, and now he's trying to reverse it all, but he's doing it with a drastic measure of changing his diet. And the direction he went in with changing his diet, he's been influenced. And I would say influenced, but basically what I'm saying is he's been inspired to go on this journey from other people that are doing it right now. So I watched a little video. I don't know why it captivated me, but it did. And I started watching how he was talking and with another individual. I think this is probably the one that was getting him motivated. Kev Ramon or Ramona or something. I don't know. Anyways, he's technically on record as going the longest of eating just watermelon. And he eats approximately like one big watermelon a day. And we're talking about he's been doing this now for over 100 days. And I listened to what he was saying, and a lot of the stuff I like what was coming out of his mouth. And it's some things maybe I want to disagree with. But he said a lot of sound things, and even stuff I didn't know. Like, for example, did you know that when you look on the back of a package of food or whatever it is that you're about to purchase, and it says citric acid, that it's citric acid. It probably came from black mold. You didn't know that. I promise you didn't. I thought citric acid on the back of my labels was coming from fruit, some lemons or something. Heck no. I don't care how natural you call it. It said 99% of the manufacturing of citric acid comes from black mold. It's what they figured out how to extract. I looked this up online just to confirm what he said, and it was blatantly there. It just kind of goes back to, what is that? The anal glands of raccoons or some shit or beaver anal glands is raspberry flavoring. Like, we don't even know what we eat, and we think it's so scrumptious. I love that daggum beaver anal juice. Anal gland, man, that's terrible. Oh, my God. Anyways, so this guy was echoing cleaning the body, eating fruit, and he said he was on a fruit-based diet for about a year, and he had struggles with, like, cravings, addiction. And he says, with this watermelon diet, just eating watermelon alone, nothing else, he has no cravings. And that's a very interesting point. He's been on a spiritual journey for 15 years. I can resonate with that. I can relate. And with the diet situation, he didn't necessarily have any problems. He just figured, why wait till they're recognizable? Why wait till your problems are identifiable? Because honestly, when people find the problems inside of your body, it's already too late. Like, you went too far past the point where you could have already started to do something early and reverse it. So I think it was like his point he made was most of the diseases that you now have probably at a 60 to 70% increase. Like you could have cancer right now. I tell people all the time you got cancer already. I don't know why we're even having a talk about it. You've got cancer. The problem is that you want to reduce it from where it's at, or eliminate it altogether, and or prevent it from continuing on to where it becomes a freaking problem, and now it's on, registering on the radar. So that's the point he made. Anyways, he's doing watermelons for 100 days, and he's doing just fine. And some of the way he spoke was a little bit slowed, composed, but put together. And I can appreciate that. I'm fine with that. I'm a speed talker sometimes. I've been in the other elated state and I talk quiet. It just depends on kind of what I ate. So maybe this is what watermelon has done for him. But he's a very strong personality. I can get with that. So without further ado, without talking about it too much, you now understand Kali Muscle, major bodybuilding looking guy, is on a watermelon fast where he eats nothing but watermelon every day. He's at 20 days right now of doing it. And he said that he's still feeling some like stomach things happening. I don't really know. I'm applauding him. I don't care what he does. I think like everybody's just monitoring to see what happens. They want to know like what is his outcome going to look like at the end of this. I'm curious about it myself. So Shawn, different subject. Maybe he's going to talk about it. This is why I clicked on his video, but I don't think he is. But I'm listening to Shawn speak, and it's really weird for me. Like, I listen to meat eaters. So when they are exhibiting things that I see as being somewhat of a health concern, I'm concerned. I start wondering, like, maybe this is not always this good. Maybe it's health. Maybe he has some health things going on. But would Shawn Baker come out and tell everyone about it? I don't think he would. I think he would protect. And this is why I really can't stand when people take a position and they're not willing to deviate from it. Feels like he's going to lose his alphaism, man. And look, you hear me talking shit about him because I like Shawn Baker and for his comments and stuff like that. But I also think that he's taken positions on his subject matter, and you will not see him gleam and gloat too much about any other information if it's running counter to his belief system right here. I can't 100% follow an individual that just has it just perfectly figured out, laid out. There's no other way. Your history has told you this, evolution and biology. Oh, no, man. I don't give a fuck. None of us are living in the state that we were in back in the past, man. Like, nobody can say that we're all out in the wilderness dealing with our vitamin D counts that we need to have, not wearing all the chemicals or breathing all the chemicals that we just can't avoid day to day. I mean, it's just there every single freaking day. Formaldehyde and what was it? I can't remember what it's called. But it's stuff that's in your furniture. You can't get away from. Anyways, what the point is, we don't live like our ancestors. Even if you try to reproduce it, like, would that actually marry well with not living like our ancestors? Like, with a diet full of meat, nothing but meat, and I think it does work to a degree. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that's been doing this 10 plus years. Just meat. They have a very strong, thriving body. But then I listen to Shawn Baker here. And his last few videos, or some of the videos I've heard him on, he starts having breathing problems. It sounds like he's running out of breath. And like I said, I've been there. But it's weird for me. I would think if he's on the thriving diet and is just magically doing well, I shouldn't have this problem with him right now. Like, he should be able to breathe just fine. So anyways, I'm going to put on this headset so that I'm ready when I'm not just blasting away here. Hold on. And I'm not catching feedback. And we're going to watch this together We're going to see what he's talking about with this meat. And I want you to pay attention to his breathing, because he's like trying to catch his breath a little bit. I thought you would do just fine with your arteries and you shouldn't be trying to catch your breath. He works out all the time. I think he even does some aerobics type stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm criticizing the wrong thing. He's old or something. No, I don't want to give him a pass. There's older fruitarians and vegans that actually can breathe and do pretty well. So I don't know. You would think I'm against the whole thing, but I'm not. I'm not against carnivore. I just don't quite understand it in the grand scheme of things. I'm still, the jury's still out on the subject. All right, let's watch.
All right, guys, this little fact here is upsetting a lot of people. And so what it's showing is that...
Did you hear that? He breathed. Did you see that breath he took in? Like, dude, were you worked up? Did you just work out? What's going on?
Vegan diet popularity has decreased and is decreasing tremendously, whereas the carnivore diet is rising more and more. And this is, I got a lot of people upset about this. Now, one guy named Joey Carbstrong, I guess his real name is Joey Armstrong. He's a former, I guess, gang member, criminal guy that sort of, focuses efforts into animal activism as if that will maybe negate his past history perhaps, but he's very aggressive and an absolutist. All humans are evil unless they stop eating animals, and we need to end that forever. And, what he's saying is, he can't believe that more people are falling for the carnivore BSers like myself and others and the propagandists, and they're not believing rational, pure data from the scientists and so on and so forth. And you think about that, and why is the popularity? Why should it succeed when everything says it shouldn't, right? We have all this mainstream pressure. Don't eat meat. Certainly don't do a carnivore diet. We've got all kinds of people saying how bad it is, how it's not going to work, and yet it persists. Why is it that it persists? If you think about that, well, I'll tell you the answer to the reason why it persists is it just works. People are undeniably getting healthier, and they're seeing that. They're seeing through all the BS. There's a lot of propaganda out there, as you guys know. There's a lot of narrative building and pushing, and people have finally fed up with that. And what are they seeing is I'm going to go with results. I'm going to go with my own personal results. I'm going to go with the results of my loved ones, and I'm going to take that, over what you're telling me, and it's just at this point, becoming almost a cultural revolution, so to speak, that we are tired of having people shove stuff down our throats based upon a lot of times corporate greed. What is propping up plant-based diets these days? Well, it's corporations that want to massively profit on you. We know that studies show that the more plant-based people eat, the higher percentage of ultra-processed, cheap, very profitable food that is consumed. And so against all odds, the carnivore diet continues to rise. And again, it is because of people like you, not because of me. I'm out there, here's a message. If it didn't work, I would be relegated to the trash can like everyone else is. And maybe
if it did work, why are you breathing so hard? I'm just saying. I know there's going to be some Shawn Baker fans. I've done this with other people on their other fan bases. I don't care. Y'all can show up. But, that's the point I'm making. What's the breathing? What's your reason for breathing hard? I know mine. I got stuff I'm still working on my diet. And if I went completely meat, sometimes I don't breathe as well. I hate to admit that, because I think I would really promote more of the carnivore diet. But there's things I'm just not getting in my food. And I would go as far as to say it would be some D3K2 combination stuff going on, because K2 is very involved in reducing plaque from what I've been recently learning. And so a lot of people might say, well, I'll get my vitamin K from my eggs, my meats, maybe some fermented foods, kimchi, sauerkraut. But a lot of this stuff does not carry the same nutrient density. We are synthetic. We were raised in nature, fed from nature, and now we turned our back on nature and we started living for ourselves, growing from ourselves, and consuming ourselves. So there's a transition. When I say ourselves, like creating all these things independent of what nature is kind of provided, to the point that we don't understand our relationship there well anymore. Or maybe we do, but we don't want to go and reinvest there. We almost have become tunnel vision to this other direction.
That'll be the case. I'm not going to be proclaiming that this is the way, the truth, and the light, to use a biblical reference. But what I will say is that,
well, what is it then?
And this is
like, okay. He says, okay, he's not going to say this is the way. Like, well, what else is there? You give us the alternative. If it's not the way and the truth and what's working for you or for anybody or some other people, what's the alternative? I'm challenging you a little bit, Shawn. Just saying, man. Keep us honest.
The other thing, people will criticize me, and they'll say, well, the whole world doesn't eat carnivore. How do you expect that to happen? Or, you demonize vegetables. How dare you? All I say is, look, there's a lot of people suffering and sick in the world, and this is an option, not the only option, but an option that may work for a lot of people, and we should celebrate it, and we should be thankful for those people, however many it is, however many hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of people that get benefit from this. We should be thankful we've got some sort of cure, so to speak, or solution.
That's an out. Guys, y'all ever watch somebody say some cute shit on here to save their ass? That's an out. You know how you may not want to be perceived a certain way because you've said something wrong? I've been in that situation. And you come back and you make a nice fluff video because you're busy people pleasing the masses. It's like, oh, well, we should just be happy that there's something that saved all these people's lives. That's the same shit that somebody would say about using chemo, man. I was like, well, it's definitely helped extend lives. And if it's helped people stay here longer with their loved ones, well, we ought to be thankful for that. Like, come on, man. Come on. Look, if it works, it works. It's great. I don't have a problem with carnivore diet. And yeah, it's been good that it's helped some people out. But don't make it such a sweet thing like, I'm just glad that it's helped people out and helped them to get on. I mean, yeah, that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But it seems like an out from not having to stand strong or actually defend, or I don't know. I think there's something still lacking in his debate process with this meat position, because there've been other videos I've looked at, and I've been more on the one side of the carnivore side than the others, to be honest. Like I've tried, I'm very biased towards it. And so I started looking at some other content that really contradicted it pretty well. I'll give you two examples. I really don't have the names. I wish I did. There's a plant-based athlete. Not really athlete, but bodybuilder, physique. He's never, ever ate meat. He has been strictly vegan his whole childhood, adolescence, adulthood. And I always wonder, what does the community say about him? Well, he's got genetics. Like, well, somebody going to use me and give me an excuse for him. How is he looking so damn good with the way he's doing things? And all he does is do natural vegan products. Like, that's all he's done his whole life. So somebody has to explain that part to me. The other one is, like, I had a video where people were talking about the studies that, yeah, you might eat fiber and then you have to deal with adjustments and bowel movements, stuff like all that. And he was like, that doesn't always run true in the statistics either, like what the studies have shown. So that guy actually refuted a lot of stuff that Paul Mason was speaking about, because Paul Mason's another big proponent against this. No fiber, no fiber. It's not good for the gut, even though you got a lot of doctors. I can't remember, like one of them's name's White, Dr. White, that speaks about their microbiome that flourish off of this diversity of different ingredients, foods, whatever you want to call it, and a lot like fiber. Grains are not really supported in most communities, but anyways.
For them, rather than sort of somehow, strawmanning the messages, say that, well, how dare you say everybody should be eating all meat? Well, that's never been anything I've ever said. Nor anybody I know has ever said that. I mean, there may be a few people that get out there and say.
But you're not saying the opposite either. See, this is what I'm saying. I never said that. I was careful. People that do shit like this, man, they make me raise my eyebrow. It makes me watch them a lot more closer. I never said that. I don't. But you never said anything against it. Can you imagine? He's there promoting this whole approach of dieting on eating meat. And then maybe at some extent he actually says something where, guys, I know not everyone's going to be able to eat meat. And I hate that you can't experience this process like this. And there are some people that don't eat meat that look amazing. He's going to acknowledge that. Can he put that on his videos? I challenge Shawn Baker to make a video showcasing that reasonable response, genuine response, humility response against his own position. You won't see him do it. That's why he's got all these critics up his ass, because they know he ain't doing that. Guys and gals, y'all just like him because look at him wearing his American shirt. He just one of them dudes. He eats the meat. He got a channel. He researched some stuff out pretty decently well, and he's created a lifestyle around this, obviously. He's interviewed lots of people, but he's just a dude. Don't put this dude on any kind of pedestal. I like him. Y'all don't get me wrong. You might think that I am just dogging Shawn Baker out. I still like him. I wouldn't keep watching his stuff if I didn't. But I also want somebody to hold him accountable in the sense that he holds himself accountable in the right way, a genuine way, instead of just placating and using the little ins and outs that got him through with his casual conversations and, politically, correct conversations with other people. He was diplomatic over here and he got away from the conversation there. No, you on video, man. Cut that bullshit out. Everybody watching you now. Some of the people that criticize and really observe other people's opinions, and they're watching you too. And that shit don't fly against this backboard. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Those things, but I mean, anyone's listening to me knows that I say do what works for you, and certainly the strict carnivore diet is what it is. I certainly applaud your efforts and will certainly support you if it is some other variation on it. That's fine too, But
will you support
this
vegan?
Is the neat thing that we get to try these things.
Yeah,
anyway, good news on my front. I've been having some significant neck radicular pain. It's been arm pain, numbness in the fingers from getting kind of rolled in jiu-jitsu, and that was about, I guess today's Monday, so it was last Thursday, so about 10 days ago. Today's the first day I woke up and the pain has lessened significantly. So hopefully, I've been doing, working out and push-ups. All I just got done doing a set of 125 push-ups.
Oh, there you go. So shut my mouth. I'm glad if y'all all watch this video to the end, y'all already know, man. Shut my mouth. I was like, man, why are you breathing hard? He just got done doing a workout, and he's doing pretty well for it, actually. I'm like that after I do push-ups and pull-ups too. I can relate, Shawn. My bad. Retract all that breathing problem stuff. You're doing good, bro.
But I've been doing that the whole time because I know that you got to stay after it regardless. And so I'm finally starting to turn a corner where reduction in pain, hopefully the symptoms will resolve. Because there's a certain percentage of people with this issue who will go on to have some sort of surgery, typically a neck fusion or a disc replacement. And that's not something I certainly would look forward to. And so now the mission is just recover from symptoms, strengthen and act really well so I can continue to do the things that I enjoy doing. All right, guys, you guys take care. I am still in France. I'm going to go visit some relatives, and we've got to go out to the cemetery to visit my significant other's parents and do some other stuff. The good news is no problem sticking to carnivore here. The meat is actually fairly inexpensive, which I mentioned in a previous video.
Still not
and
vegan.
I've quite enjoyed it. So, and then on to Greece in a couple days, and I'm sure I'll update and report from Greece for you guys.
It's all over the shirt.
All right, let me know what you think. Do you think that this carnivore movement is only occurring because there's some slick snake oil salesmen, myself and others apparently, or is it because, why do you think it's growing? Or is it because it works?
Great question.
What are your thoughts? Anyway, I'll look forward to reading comments, and I do read the comments. So you guys have a great one, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, okay. Let's hit that question.
Feminist women out there are not gonna like.
Feminist women. Okay, well, I don't know what that's all about. We'll get to that later. It's the Diary of a CEO. Yeah, he's good. He got good stuff too. So, yeah, if y'all see, I have, if you can look at the tabs, I figured out how to do my ad block on this browser. So I was like, let me start getting through these ads. So he asked the question, what do you think the reason is? Why is the polls trending towards this? Is it sensationalized kind of? Is it like is it because of people like him that have popularized it and made carnivore like the thing it is? I'll give my personal opinion. Anybody can chime in if they want to on this. The world is changing, right? The world is changing, going through a lot of different things. We have a lot of different frequencies, a lot of different vibrational things. And somebody's like, oh, you're going woo-woo on me, man. Give me science, man. I can't live with it. Look, I don't care what you want to. I can take your science, I can take the woo-woo, and I'll tell you, and I can put it all in the same bag. You know why? Because every bit of this shit came from the same place, which is nothing. That's what I push in a lot of these other videos I've ever made in the past here recently, of course, but in the past. Everything comes from nothing. Something comes from nothing. So all the little ideas, little visions and stuff, it's here to play with, and people have manifested it. And then you can concrete it out and prove it in so many ways until it's not provable or unprovable. This is the gameplay with science. But anyways, I digress. What I believe is happening is we've got a lot of stuff that's been going on with the planet, and you can look it up. We've had a lot of different solar flare activity. We've had our magnetosphere reducing. So we're probably getting bombarded with a lot more solar waves than usual. And solar storms. We've had our Schumann resonance going nuts like it's never supposed to since 2020. Actually hit 2019, but at least 2020 and beyond. It's been in a tailwind of weird stuff. So there's all these things happening. Why am I bringing that up? Because with that being said, that messes with the biome. It creates an uneasiness, discomfort. Hell, I think the critters aren't too happy about all that. And maybe parasitic stuff going on in your gut. All these things are happening. And yes, there's been the rise on bad health from diet. Obviously, the things that we've been consuming is just not conducive for our health. Let me take this thing off so I'm not yelling. So we've already been down this road where we're consuming the wrong items. Obviously, if something isn't working, it isn't working. We have too many outcomes with our diet that just ain't working. And I know I'm making this a long-winded answer, but hell, it's my video. I don't mind talking some shit on the side. So I'm saying that you've got basically the world's events have changed, the vibrational energies or whatever you want to call it, the frequencies, the waves, energy, all that stuff has been massively changing. No one's keeping track of it. No one's monitoring that well. There's people that have channels about it, but you have to look for it. You have to actively look for this information. So there's that. There's the diet in the Western society is catching up. There's been criticisms against people like Ansel Keys, and then I've seen things that kind of support Ansel Keys. So this is kind of weird with the seed oil topic. Put that to the side. And eventually we get to this point of, well, people are picking carnivore. So what's happening here? Why is that trending up? Because as society begins to rule out this really ruining their health, which is probably processed, they eventually turn to the easier medium, one of the more easiest mediums, which happens to be carnivore. There's a lot of great factors that happen when you go straight carnivore for a lot of people. You have very little gas, very little stomach discomfort. So that's already a huge plus for a lot of people that have these problems. Like I might have SIBO myself or have gastrointestinal issues. That's the things I've been juggling this whole couple of years. And it's much better now. So I'm shocked sometimes. And I have waves, but you got to think, I've ate pizzas for the last 2 or 3 days. And a lot of red beef on it. I'm not trying to like gloat or anything, but I'm not eating healthy right now. So I'm surprised I'm not even having more problems than I do. I eat oats, I eat grains, I eat rice. These are not good for you in my opinion. But I also take great probiotics. I have some great supplements that I think really aid me in my process. Really would like to go back more carnivore. Might actually want to try the Kali Muscle watermelon a day diet. Because your body is very adaptive. So what people don't recognize is that they think they couldn't try anything else. They think the carnivore diet was only the way. But it could be that the watermelon a day was another way, another pathway. Maybe you won't be this like mega. I mean, look, man, I'm pretty strong. Look at it. Look at it. That's a pretty nice muscle, right? I don't really have a lot of fat in my body. I'm pretty fit, but it's because of all this history of stuff. And I know I'm making my answer long, but I'm trying to say that it's not a great indicator. It's just, let's say it's a indication of the present moment. It may be that we change eating meat altogether in the next 5 to 10 years. What I do not see happening though is a strong increase back to vegan. I do not see that happening. Why am I saying that? Vegetables have a lot of components to them that don't always play nice. It ain't always flavonoid-ish, right? Everybody likes to play with this word like flavonoids or the polyphenols. Did you get those in your diet because they really help benefit the body, release all these chemicals and do magic in the body? Did you have all this short chain fatty acids, and that's the greatest indicator for a long life? And honestly, that's not going to keep playing. I don't think that's going to continue to play. I think there will be benefits for sparking your microbiome or feeding your microbiome. I think the microbiome subject is going to continue to be something of a discussion. I think people are going to find that giving the body very little of, let's say when you eat just meat, it is taking in that only that type of information. It may be antibiotics in the stuff. It may be that the animal can't consume all the nutrients. And if anybody's concerned about whether or not they're consuming pesticides or stuff from the grass, like is this organically grown on crops that have never been sprayed, like I have heard that all land has been sprayed. It is virtually impossible. Like there's not really anyone, even if there's somebody that came over or took over a farm and then they started to regrow crops and they're trying to do it the most GMO, non-GMO way that they can, there is fallout that has happened from all of this spraying and toxicity that lasts 20, 30, 40, 60 years, so it stays in the soil. And there still hasn't been enough time for that to pass before the crops have grown there, and then they're going to be still containing some of this stuff in them. So I wouldn't stress a whole lot about it. The human body is pretty fucking strong. But I do think avoiding meat that has antibiotics, like just your traditional store-bought meat, I think avoiding that would be beneficial to the body, because these preservatives in the meats, it can't be good. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. It can't be good. I can use science probably, but I'm not going there. And I see people going that direction, but for plants have oxalates. A lot of them have oxalates. They have all these phytonutrients. They compete with other stuff in the body. Now, it could be that if we just eat this one item food, that the body thrives on just that information. Like with watermelon, one of the things that this individual was saying, that is only eating watermelon for a day, for 100 days, is your body is absorbing all of the contents of what it's consumed, has very little left over, and you're eating food that's more energetic, meaning that it's picked from the vine, that's its life cycle. Like it's contained energy. You just took an energy bomb if you're talking about a watermelon, versus a cow where you killed it and then it sits in, you eat it 30 days later. Like, and his point was that what does something do after it dies? It decays instantly. And so when you have something that you're eating 30 days later, what did they have to do to keep it in that state? Somebody says, well, they freeze it. No, we're not saying that they just freeze it, because you can take a slab of meat you froze and then cook it 30 days later, and it does not look as juicy and pretty and clean like the stores are presenting to people. So they have to do things to the meat to make it sellable. And I think the guy has a point. This is the Kev Ramon that Kali had on his video. He was doing a podcast with, or interview. It was there. I mean, like, that stuff is just common sense, makes sense to me, even if we like it. It says the body doesn't necessarily need all the protein that everybody thinks. You may not be a muscle-bound big guy, full rip, whatever, but your body will use the elements it needs and give you the energy you need to make leaps and bounds productively, maybe spiritually, energetically. And so with that being said, I leave everything out to the crowd that's watching, or if there's the one or two that are interested in these videos, give me your opinion, what you think. I mean, I told you what I thought. And Shawn, my bad. Props back to you, man. You did your 100-some push-ups. That's a lot of damn push-ups. I can only imagine. I can knock out 50 at a time probably right now. I like 50. 50's good. But I want to get back to doing it like where I'm consecutive with the pull-ups and the push-ups. Because I started finding out, like, now I know what gives me my strength for my push-ups. my pull-ups. It's like this forearm, man. That forearm is key, baby. It's key. Like, it ain't like you get all, like, I got lats. My lats are good from all that. But it's the forearm. You get that forearm straight, it's like, boom. You can just pull up. You can do all kinds of magic with the forearms. Anyways, y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate you watching. Have a great rest of the evening. I'm going to post this right now, unedited.